Hello YouTube, Arrow Assassin here today, and today I want to go over a balanced droid PvP guide for you guys. So before I start off, this is mainly going to be for RBGs, BGs, and World PvP. I don't really do much arenas, so if you're looking for a guide on arenas, this probably may not help you as much. So with that out of the way guys, let's go ahead and get this started here. I'm going to be covering over two different builds that I run, and they personally have worked for me. I bounce between these two builds a lot, and it's just something I love, and it got me to 1,800 RBGs. That was one of my goals to get just for the transmog, and it worked really well for me. I mean, most of the time I did top damage every game. Yeah, it's just basically about it. So if you're interested in getting a lot of AoE kills, helping your team win rot fights, or just padding meters and battlegrounds, I can give you an example of a battleground I did the other day and give you an idea of what it looked like. So that is basically what the AoE spec is. So anyways, I've talked enough about that. Let's go ahead and get right into the middle of the talents now. First row, Warrior Balloon. I went with this just because the other ones, Force of Nature, is just it's not really that good in my opinion. I've never seen a Boomkin personally take it, so that's out. Star-Lord is just kind of so that's why I don't really take it either. Warrior Balloon, Lunar Strikes is like a little bit of an AoE kind of. It's not really an AoE type ability, it's more single target, but it's sort of that. There's really not much to say about the talent. It's just an instant 3 strikes if people are on you, so which is pretty nice, so that's why I went with that one. Displacer Beast to get away. Wild Church can work too, but pretty much all of these can technically work, but I just like Displacer Beast. It's just something I liked with my playstyle over the years, so that's why I went with that. Alright, next row. For RBGs, you're always going to want to run Guardian Infinity. It's just overall better, because you're going to have 3 healers with you, and sorry, Guardian Infinity with you. I mean, 3 healers with you, sorry. And you're just going to take reduced damage taken, so, and plus you're going to be mainly flag carrying all the time, so our Guardian Infinity is just always going to be better in RBGs. For normal type battlegrounds and World PvP, I like to run Restro Infinity just so I can heal myself up. It's just a lot more nicer in my opinion. So Guardian Infinity for RBGs, and if you want to run it for World PvP and battlegrounds, that's up to you, but I just find it more better for me personally, because you won't have as much healers and stuff guarding you as RBGs would. So that's why I run Restro Infinity. This is kind of like the level 30 row. It's up to you. I just run Mighty Bash for the CC. Typhoon if you want to knock people off. Some boomies run Mass Entanglement. That could work as well. It's just whatever you decide you want to run. But I prefer Mighty Bash. Now for the AoE build. You're going to want to run Soul of the Forest, which reduces the Astral Power Starfall, so that's why I picked with that talent. And you're going to want to run Shooting Stars, because if you're going to be dotting people up and having Starfall out, that will be all your AoE damage. And Stellar Drift, that increases the damage and radius. So this is the AoE build. These 3 are the main talents you're going to want for the AoE build. The other ones you could just mess around with if you want to, but these are just the main 3, at least in the talent rows, that you're going to want for the AoE build. So now we covered that. Gladiator's Medallion is what I run with. Mind Quickness for the extra haste, because Train of Thought, you're just always going to be hit, so it just really is worthless. Iron Feather Armor or Celestial Guardian both work, but in RBGs, this kind of goes with Guardian Infinity as well. It's just mandatory Celestial Guardian for RBGs in my opinion. So that's why I went with that. I can't even talk. Alright. Next is Celestial Downpour. Increases the duration of Starfall 100%, but only may 1 active at a time. So this is what I'm saying about the AoE spec, is because you're going to want this as well, combined with the other talents. You're just going to want to keep that up all the time, basically. Dying talents for, not dying talents, dying stars for dot protection. You'll get regeneration if they dispel. You could do more Starfalls. And Cyclone, pretty much mandatory for RBGs as well, but if you're doing normal battlegrounds and stuff, or World PvP, any of these can work. Personally, Deep Roots is my favorites, but I use Cycle for RBGs to help CC people, so that's fine with that. Let's go over the rotation for this build real quick. Basically, you're just going to want to keep targeting and just keep as much dots as possible in people and pump your burst with Starfall. At least that's what I do. And then Full Moon, your kill target, whatever they announce in RBGs or Battlegrounds if you're after a specific person. Do that. Gosh, man. Sorry, guys. Alright. That's really about it for the rotation. Alright, guys. Let's go over the next talents real quick. Let's go over burst build. Basically, for burst build, it's a lot like you can pretty much kill most of the time any target you want. I mean, burst is just pretty good as the spec. I bursted down tons of people before in the spec, and it's one of my favorites, but I just prefer AoE anymore. So that's why I run with the AoE spec instead of burst. So anyways, let's go ahead. Warrior Valoon, you're going to want to keep this. Displace your beast. Pretty much the first 3 rows are about the same. It's just Guardian Druid still mandatory for RBGs, and it's up to you for the 30 row. Same for level 60. Now this changes. I go with Incarnation of Valoon and Astral Communion. Those are the only 2 things I switch up for my burst build. Incarnation gives you a little bit more damage, and Astral Communion is where your burst comes in when you do it. Same for the honor talents. Really nothing changes except for you go Eclipse instead of Celestial Downpour. You could probably use Moonkin if you want to, but I still like Dying Stars. Same thing for the last row. I just still personally like Deep Roots. For usually my burst spec, I go with Deep Roots instead of Cyclone. So I can get some nice, burst damage, and they stay stuck in the roots, and Demon Hunters and Warriors just pretty much flop most of the time because they just die in roots. So that's what I do with that. I'll just go ahead and demonstrate real quick. So let's go ahead and go over rotation. This one is a little bit different. You just put up the dots, and then you just pretty much root them. Actually, let's go ahead. Let's redo this. I'm a little bit sidetracked. Sorry. First, you want to start off with the root if you're running deep roots. You want to dot them up, and odds are, like I said, they'll probably notice you. And then most of the time, you'll be able to get 2 moons off, like the new moon into half moon, and then by then the roots will be off probably. So you go ahead and root them again, and then you do your full moon. And if they're not dead, do 2 star surges, and then Astral Communion into 2 more star surges. And if they're still not dead, but they're usually most of the time dead by then, you go ahead and pop your Lunar Strikes from Warrior Valoon. So I can give you guys an example real quick of what it's kind of like, and then let me know what you guys think. I hope this helps. I'll see you guys later.